Start 1-4A. 1-4A.
I'm gonna start.
Solving equations. Okay, I have some rules about solving equations. In every chapter we do, there's always a solving equation lesson, no matter what. We get to quadratics, we'll solve equations. We get to exponentials, we'll solve equations. With solving equations, it's really the only time I make you write down the problem, okay? So here we go. We're going to solve, and here are the steps that you need to take. In order to get a 5 out of 5 on your homework, you need to do these steps. You need to write down the problem. I know you hate that, but you'll be all right. You won't die. Write down the problem. Not from that, at least. And then the next thing you're going to do is you are going to use column form. Okay? What that means is you are working down the page. Okay? You're not writing across like an essay. You're going down the page. Each step. Yep. And you're going to show your work. I know, I'm sorry. You're going to show your work, and then you're going to circle your answer. Okay? Some of you already do all of these things, and that's wonderful. Some of you need to do these to get 5 out of 5 on your homework. All right, so here we go. Write down the problem, use column form, show work, circle answer. A lot of people like to take their paper, and they'll do a dash down the middle of it, and that way they can work, problems here, and you don't feel like you're wasting too much paper. Okay, so let's start. Number 1. We are solving for x, so we're going to have equations. Some of them are going to be easy to start with, might make us feel good, and then the other ones will bring us back down to it. All right, here we go. X plus 4 equals negative 12. We'll start nice, easy problem. So you write down the problem itself, there it is, and then you show working down the page. So I'm going to subtract 4. And what you do to one side of the equation, you do unto the other. That's the golden rule of algebra. And you get x equals negative 16. I like to put a little rectangle around my answer. You can circle it. Circle. Yeah. I am. Yeah. I like to kind of, branch out a little bit. All right. Pretty easy stuff, right? Hey, you made it. All right. Number 2. Number 2. 24b equals 50. Thank you. You're at a meeting?
It's a long meeting.
Oh, yeah. Try not to schedule those during my class. All right, here we go. Number 2. It wasn't your fault. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and solve this. So it's 24 times b equals 50. I always think of equations as like a present, and we're unwrapping it, right? If you wrap a present, let's say we take B and we wrap it. We wrap it, we put the bow, you put the card. When you're unwrapping a present, you do the exact opposite stuff. You have to read the card first, right? Which nobody likes to do. And then you unwrap the bow and then unwrap the present. So here, this is 24 times B. To get rid of it, to unwrap it, we have to divide by 24. So B equals 50 over 24. You can get your calculator out. I don't mind if it's in a fraction form or a decimal. This is an ugly decimal, 2.083 repeating. That's fine if you want to write that down. A lot of times the book, though, will have their answer as a fraction. So you can hit math fraction, and it'll give you 25 over 12, which is reduced form. There you go. So either one. All right, so I'm probably insulting your intelligence, right? You're like, come on. We can do these. These are easy. All right, let's step it up then. Number 3. Negative 27 plus 6y equals 3 times y minus 3. All right, the variable doesn't have to be x, right? The last one was b. It should just be any letter you like. Most people like to use x just because you're used to it. But we're going to solve this, okay? And this one's a little trickier because I have parentheses and we have y's on both sides of the equation. So first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of those parentheses and use the distributive property to take that 3 and multiply it in. So we get negative 27 plus 6y equals 3y minus 9. Everyone okay? All right, now we need to get our like terms together, and I have I have 6y over here and 3y over here. So let's go ahead and take that 3y and subtract it over to this side. That way we'll have positives, right? We like positives. So we get negative 27 plus 3y equals negative 9. Any questions so far? We're doing okay? All right, add 27 to both sides of the equation. That way this negative 27 and 27 is gone, and you end up with 3y on the left side, and negative 9 plus 27 is 18. And then one more step, divide by 3, so y equals 6. There you go. Now, if you're one of those people that you got to get them all right on the quiz, and you want to check your answer, you can take that 6 and plug it back in for y to see if it equals each other. But I wouldn't do that for homework. You're just practicing. But I don't know if you want to do that for your quiz, you can. All right, number 4. I'm going to let you try one. And it's a doozy. Here we go. 3 times 2x minus 1, in parentheses, minus 2 times 3x plus 4 equals 11x. Woo! Do you think you can do this one? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to let you try. I said that. All right, 6x minus 3. No, I paused. Minus 6x. Oh, those are going to cancel out. That's exciting. And then minus 8 equals 11x. Okay, so here we go. Now, our like terms are on the same side this time, so those actually cancel each other out. Yes. And then we get a negative 3 and a negative 8, make negative 11. You were right, Harry. And then divide by 11. Oops. Divide by 11. X equals negative 1. Who got that? Yes, that's good. Like 20 kids raised their hand. Okay, here we go. Let's do part B now.
Is Greg going to see it?
Greg doesn't watch these now. All right, special cases.
He shouldn't.
He hasn't subscribed, no. All right, special case. We're not that serious. He what?
Does he actually love you?
Oh, dang. I hope so. I don't know. I'll ask him later. I'll get back to you. Okay. Hey, yo, Greg, you love me? Good communication. Oh, okay. All right. So here are some special cases that we're going to have. They're going to come up. They don't happen a lot, but sometimes they do. And it's when an equation is always true. Okay? Sometimes you'll have an equation, and it'll be true for every single number out there. All right? It basically, like, you get to the end, and you get something like 5 equals 5, or 0 equals 0. And you're like, yeah, that's true. Your variables cancel out, and then your numbers are equal to each other, and so it's always true. Sometimes you get something that is never true. Never true. Okay? When it's always true, by the way, your answer would be all real numbers. Okay? When something is never true, that means you have no solution at all. You can write that. A circle with a line through it means no solution. It's called the empty set. And that's when you get something like, for example, 7 equals 3. And you're like, no, definitely not. 7-year-olds are definitely different than 3-year-olds. So you get something that's never, ever true. No x's can ever work. And then you get something that is sometimes true. And the sometimes true ones, those are the ones that we just did. We did 4 of the sometimes true. Sometimes true means that you get one solution for these problems. Okay? One solution. So these are our special cases. I'm going to do one of each. I'm going to do an always true and a never true. We've already done the sometimes true ones. So we're on number 5. Well, they're going to be a little bit more complicated because you'll see that one. You'll be like, yeah. So let me give you this one. 11 plus 3x minus 7 equals 6x plus 5 minus 3x. Okay, so you look at something like this, and you might be able to do a little bit of this in your head and try and figure it out, but let's go ahead and show work, go in column form down the page. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my like terms on each side. So on the left side, I have 11 minus 7. What's that?
4.
4. So I get 3x plus 4. And over here, I get 6x minus 3x is 3x plus 5. Okay, so you can already tell right now, some of you, because you're taking 3x plus 4, how's that going to equal 3x plus 5? Well, if you keep going, let's say you don't see it, and that's okay, and you subtract, what happens is your variables cancel out, and you get a statement. 4 equals 5. 4 never equals 5, okay? So we're going to say no solution. You can either write the words out, no solution, or just go ahead and put a circle with a line through it. All right, number 6. You know what the answer is going to be to this one. Let's see, let's prove it. Let's show it. 6x plus 5 minus 2x equals 4 plus 4x plus 1. All right, you try this one, okay? Do the math, do the algebra, try it, see how it goes. So we've got 6x minus 2x is 4x plus 5. And on this side, I get 4x plus 5.
It's the same thing.
It is. It's an identity. And so x would equal, bless you, all real numbers. Or you could write always true. It's right? Yeah, I know. Okay. All right, let's go to the last part, which is part C. And we're going to talk about some literal equations. These ones are tricky. So if you feel like you got this, you're doing okay, these ones are the hard part of today, okay? Literal equations, what we're going to do is we're not really solving for a number. We're going to solve for a variable. Solve for a variable. And we will do this a lot in chapter 2, so it's kind of getting us ready for that. So like, for example, here we go. Number 8? No, 7. Number 7. Okay, K equals C plus 273. Have you ever seen that formula before? Do you know what that formula is? It's an actual formula. It's a conversion band. It's a conversion.
From Celsius to Kelvin.
Kelvin, yes, Celsius to Kelvin. Do you like science? Yeah. Yeah, you know. Okay. All right. So it's going to give you an equation like this. And right now, K is solved for. K equals stuff. Okay? What we want to do is we want to solve for C instead. We want to change this equation. We're not really changing it, but we're solving for a different variable inside of it. So we're going to solve for C. It's a one-step problem. We're trying to get C by itself. C is being added to 273. So let's subtract 273 to the other side. Okay? So I get C equals K minus 273, and that would be my answer. Okay? That's all they want you to do. You're rearranging the equation to solve for a different variable. Okay, that's an easy one. Let's try a little trickier. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. And we're going to go ahead and solve for H. We want H to be all by itself. We're going to solve the one side, bring everybody over. So right now, A equals stuff. It's a really good mathematical term. But we want H equals stuff, okay? So you can do this in 1 step, 2 steps. I'm going to do it in 2, just to be careful. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of this 1/2. Now, I hate dividing by fractions, don't you? Yeah. When you go up to someone, you're like, what's 30 divided by 1/2? They'll tell you 15.
No.
60. 30 divided by 1/2 is asking you how many halves are in 30. Or 60 of them. I know. Isn't that weird? You feel like to say 15. Okay, so instead of dividing by 1/2, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply both sides by 2. Okay? When you do that, the 1/2 and the 2 will cancel or reduce, whatever you want to call it. All right, so now we have 2A equals B times H. We're solving for H, so there's 1 step left. That B is right next to it being multiplied, so we got to do the inverse function of it, which is to divide by B. Math is so fun, right? No. All right.
So we're just jokesters?
Jokesters. I like jokesters.
We make it fun.
Good. H equals 2a all over b. Okay, and that's it. You're done. So you're not solving for a number. It kind of feels like you didn't really accomplish too much. But, you know, that's math. All right, number 9. Here we go. Now, these are going to be equations that don't really mean anything. They're going to look something like this. X over m. This is getting us ready for chapter 2. Plus 5 equals y. And these are going to be the ones they're going to ask you to solve for x. Solve for x here.
Multiply m, subtract 5.
Ooh, almost.
Oh, man.
We are going to do those things, but not in that order. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is you have to subtract 5 first.
Sorry.
That's okay. You know, you're doing, when you're unwrapping this present or you're solving something, you're doing the opposite of PEMDAS. Okay? So instead of wrapping the present, we're unwrapping it. So we have x over m, PEMDAS, equals y minus 5. All right. Now we need to multiply both sides of the equation by m. Okay? Be careful here. When you multiply both sides of the equation by m, so we're going to get rid of it, over here you're going to need parentheses. You have to multiply the entire side by m. And people will forget that. So right here, these m's, they are gone. You multiplied it over. And your answer would be x times, and a lot of people like to move it to the front. You do not have to distribute. You can. It's not wrong. But you can just leave it just like that. Okay? All right, I've got one more for you.
Is it okay if that one has space?
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, it's a lot like this one. I want you to try this one. X minus 3 over 3 equals a plus b. And I want you to solve for x again. Okay? So this is the last one. Try this one. Solve for x. Multiply both sides by 3. X minus 3 equals, and I'm going to put that 3 in front and put parentheses. You can put it at the back, it doesn't matter, but make sure the parentheses are there. Plus 3b. Yes, you can do that too. You can distribute or you can multiply everything. Okay, so then we get to add 3 to the other side. And if your answer looked like this, that's fine. If your answer was x equals 3a plus 3b plus 3, that's good too.